Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, it is.
All right, well, let's get Zach in here too.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. I just like quickly emailed myself the link off the text and then opened the
Yeah,
phone.
I copy it on my computer, put it in my notes app that's like the same app on my phone, and then it like transfers
Yeah.
over and I copy and paste it. Just text y'all. Yeah. Are we waiting on Zach before you get him in here?
Well, I already sent him the link because I'm just gonna assume that he's not gonna click on it instantly. So
Okay. There's Zach. So
Yeah.
I imagine he gets in before Zach gets in. That'd be funny.
that's what I was worried about. I was like,
There we go.
he said,
Yo.
"Yeah, send it now," and I was like, "Okay," and then I sent it like right away. So
Before we started this, I was kind of worried because my Zoom was being stupid. It was like telling me I had
Yeah.
to update and then it wouldn't let me do the update.
Yeah. We should be good on the recording. It says it's recording,
yeah,
so
I could
Yeah.
see it too.
and I tested the audio. We should be fine.
Dude, this reminds me of freshman year.
Yeah,
The
man.
Zoom
Dude,
Yeah,
calls.
for real. I can't
freshman
remember the
year's
last
in.
time I've been like on a Zoom like this before,
Yeah,
other
dude.
than like academic meetings.
I do not miss class except for the fact that I rolled out of bed one time and got on class and I was on time.
Yeah, dude, those are the
I did that
best.
I would literally
way.
just show up on my phone. I wouldn't even get out of bed
I
sometimes.
did that way.
I was
I did that
If it
too.
didn't require face cam, I would literally just open Zoom on my phone and then
I had
No,
one that
I did
I
that
had
one
one
time.
I had one that didn't require. Go ahead, Nathan.
I had one. I opened it on my phone. It was a geology class. It was first semester of freshman year. Most boring man I've ever heard talk ever. And I never paid attention to the class. I got on Zoom, got my attendance, and then I would literally go back to sleep. One
Dang,
time I fell back asleep, woke up, and it was only me and him in the Zoom call.
that's so funny.
And he
dude,
was
I've
like,
done that before too.
he
I've
was
done
like,
Yeah.
that before
Ethan,
too.
Ethan,
Yes.
are you there? And I just didn't say anything. I didn't say a word. I just left the call. And I was
That's
like,
so
if he
funny.
asks me, I'm just gonna say I shut my computer and didn't leave the call, and like it must have
Yeah,
just kept me in the call. And I was like, I'm not
yeah.
admitting to falling asleep.
Tanner, are you recording too?
No, do you want me to?
I think didn't you say you were gonna do a backup recording just in case? You can't.
It
Probably a good
says
idea.
it says you have to give me permission to record.
Okay, never mind.
I think we're good.
We're good.
Hey, can you hear us?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, how you
How you
doing?
doing?
Good. How y'all
Hey,
been?
We're good.
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 You at
What's up?
work right now or are you back home?
That again?
Yeah, at work right now or are you back home?
Yeah, I got a couple teams in.
Oh, okay, late night tonight?
I'll be done in about 30 minutes.
Oh, okay, okay, not bad.
Cool.
So how can I help you guys?
All right, so yeah, we're just doing a little project for our entrepreneurship class. Make it pretty short and brief. We're just gonna ask you a couple questions just about yourself and pure performance.
Okay, sure.
All right, so first of all, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, before I got into the sports industry, I was a police officer for 14 and a half years. Worked 5 years patrol, 4 years undercover narcotics, and another 3 years as a liaison with the DEA ATF task force. Also, in my last year, I was the assistant director of the Police Fire Training Academy. After I finished that, I decided to retire in 2007 and go full time personal training. To where the gym that I was working at, the first athlete that I trained was Brett Favre. That was my first trainer. So after that, he paid for my training in Tempe, Arizona. It used to be called Athletes Performance. It's since then been called Exos. It's one of the top tier professional training sites in America. Uh, the CEO is Mark Vestegen. Now he's with Dr. Andrews in Pensacola, Florida, and at the headquarters called Exos. After that, I actually left law enforcement, like I said, in 2007 and went full time, personal training, private training, things of that nature. After training Brett Favre, the doors just opened wide for me from that point to where I was training just about every professional athlete in a 100-mile radius of my hometown of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I trained a lot of guys from Mississippi State, Ole Miss, LSU, from the Saints. I trained Jason Campbell, who's a quarterback for Auburn, went on to play in the NFL for the Washington Redskins, Oakland Raiders, and a couple other teams. Paul Mahalam graduated from Mississippi State, played with the Pittsburgh Pirates, Atlanta Braves, and the Cincinnati Reds. Jonathan Papelbon, Boston Red Sox, and the Phillies. And the list goes on from there. Like I said, I have several different professional athletes in all sports, from soccer, baseball, basketball, and, it goes on from there. So after doing that, I found out that there was a need, especially for me, because I played college baseball, and I could have made it farther than what I did, but I was sidelined with a ACL injury, which ruined my college career and even possibly making it to minor leagues or the majors in baseball. So the best thing I did after that was completed school. I was raised by my grandparents. My grandfather got diagnosed with prostate cancer. Was given a minimal amount to live, so I decided to move back home from St. Louis, where I went to school, to help my grandmother take care of him. Shortly after I got there, he passed away while I was in the police academy, and it went from that point.
Okay. So with your background doing in the police academy and everything, what kind of sparked you to open up Pure Performance, and why'd you move to in Florida too?
Well, in Mississippi, I was basically top of the food chain of training athletes, top tier athletes, and most of my professional athletes were telling me, "Man, you're too good for this area. You're not making enough money as you should." And most of my guys would actually come to Florida every off season for spring training to Florida. And so Florida is a all around, all season state, to where they play baseball year round. Literally, just about play every sport year round because of the weather. So I decided to move down, and I moved down based off of a friend of mine that I knew, who's Paul Mahalam, introduced me to Tim Tebow. I know Tim Tebow, fairly well. We're actually best of friends. And he was opening up a D1 Sports here in Orlando, Florida. So I came down, put in for the job. First interview, first talk, first day at work. It happened that quick. So I started off as a head trainer there. I did NFL combine trainings, to where I was training some of the top college prospects, getting them ready for the NFL draft. My first year there, I think we had 17. Out of 17, probably 12 of them are still in the NFL as of now. After I became the head trainer, I got promoted to the general manager and the head trainer as well. So because I was very well known in the area, I was able to link with Orlando City Soccer, Orlando Magic, just about every professional team in this area, that made it easy for me to be able to get clientele from there. And of course, from there, most of the professional athletes have young athletes that are top tier as well. So that's why I decided to move to Florida to kind of take my training to the next level. So where I am now, from the ages of 7 and to the pros, even with some adults or retired athletes. I actually train more top tier athletes. From my 7-year-olds can play with the 12-year-olds. My 12-year-olds can play in high school, and my high school kids they're good enough to play in college and to the pros. So that's my stamp on my athletes, that this has to be something that you want. This is not just a daddy daycare. You drop your kids off, giving them something to do, make them lose weight. This is kids that are actually trying to get to college to play the sport, help their parents out and with their athleticism by getting full scholarships and things of that nature. So that's how I have more of a upper scale of a sports performance training facility.
All right, I kind of want to bounce off of what you were talking about with moving to Florida. You said you moved to Florida because of obviously there's like a lot of talent in Florida. How many other competitors do you think you have in the training world? Like, because obviously I feel like a lot of people probably have the same idea of you as moving to Florida because it's year-round sports there. Do you think you have a lot of competitors, and how many of those are real threats?
I wouldn't say competitors and or threats because my training is totally different than everybody else's. I'm more of a functional movement guy. I can take the biggest of an NFL athlete and get him out of the weight room from doing back squats and deadlifts and do uh, an exercise equivalent to that same movement without injuring that athlete. Most NFL and college athletes are so big with muscle. With you trying to pack more muscle on them, you actually kind of cover up their weaknesses. So what I do my first week of any professional athlete, any college athlete, I take that as an evaluation week to the point to where they don't lift even 25% of their max on bench, on squat, on deadlifts. It's me getting to know their bodies, exposing their weaknesses before I work on their strengths. And I don't think enough trainers will do that because they figure they're professional athletes. Whatever the athlete wants, you give it to them. That's not the case with me. If a trainer, if a professional athlete hires me, you're hiring me for my expertise. You're not hiring me as your little, flunky or, do as I say, or I want to do this, I want to do that. My thing of it is I'm going to tell you what's best. And this is the process that we need to go to. And most of the professional athletes and or college athletes, when you expose their weaknesses, now they understand and they trust you that you're not trying to build on their strengths. You're actually breaking them down to rebuild their small muscle and keep them injury free for their career to last longer. So when it comes to competition and things of that nature, you got CrossFit, you have D1 Sports, which is still here. You have a lot of other sports entities, but it's only getting them big or getting them fast. It's not the total package of big, fast, stronger, injury prevention, and things of that nature.
Okay, and then I had a question about, so what kind of resources did you need, or did you have to find resources from somewhere else when you were kind of building your facility?
Yes, of course. When I was at D1, they had a physical therapy site within the facility, which that was the model of all D1s. So with me knowing that I was a great sports trainer, I knew how to get athletes bigger, faster, stronger. But then it was the what if factor. What if the athlete was injured? What if the athlete couldn't train up to par instead of sending them home not doing anything? You still can work them. Like if the athlete had a lower body injury, you can work upper body. Or if athlete was still under the physical therapist care, to be able to build a relationship with the physical therapist and ask them the do's and don'ts of what I can do to still have this athlete have no days off, and when he's able to come back 100%, he's only 10% away instead of 100% away.
So
Did you, or yeah, you got it.
okay, awesome. Hey, I'm William. When you started Pure Fitness, um, sorry, hold on. Yeah, what kind of opportunity did you see for profit, and kind of what opportunity did you see that kind of inspired you to start the gym?
For me, there was, like you said, competition or other gyms doing the same thing that I was doing. I noticed that none of these gyms were doing injury prevention, post physical therapy, exercises, core strength, and things of that nature. And what I mean by that is just because the athlete is injured and he goes to physical therapy and he completes physical therapy, that does not mean you go back into your sport at 100%. There still have to be some sort of evaluation that needs to take place to make sure that that athlete still gradually goes into back into his sport, instead of going at 100%. And I've done that fairly well to where I build relationships with all of these sports surgeons, all of the sports doctors, Jewett, Orlando Orthopedic, all of the major sports guys that actually send or request the parents to send their athletes to me after physical therapy before they let them go back to school. Because if you guys are athletes, if you get hurt, you go to physical therapy and physical therapy clear you. When you step back on the field at any high school, that coach said, hey, you ready to rock. You're not knowing if you're ready to go at a 25%, if you're ready to go at 50%. But even if you are 100% ready to go back, you're not 100% mentally ready to go back because you still are focused on what if, and thinking the mental part that could get you hurt even worse.
And
Yes.
I just kind of want to bounce off that more to the business side. You talk about getting to know surgeons and stuff like that. Do you think in your business, like networking with people like that is really important and has helped your business grow?
100%. I did an internship with just about I've done an internship with a local sports chiropractor. I did an internship with a sports massage therapist. I did an internship with the doctors themselves. I did an internship with the business side of all of these places, to the point where I'm a great trainer. But when you come to prices, when you come to the area that you live in, to see what the financial status may be of the area that you're in, that's where you see if your model of training is going to work or if you're going to profit to that degree. My gym, where it's at now, I am literally in one of the richest areas of Orlando, where probably 100+ professional or former athletes live. Not only with that, attorneys, doctors, lawyers, millionaires, Shaq. The list goes on of how many athletes that are 25-mile radius of my facility. And because I'm so well known, most of these former athletes or whatever know what true training is. Hands down, I'm the first one they come to.
That's awesome. With that in mind, how much would you say that with your facility, how much do you think you guys gross, and what is your like primary source of revenue?
My primary source of revenue is sports training. My secondary is adult training, and my third line of revenue is my soft tissue treatment program.
So do they pay you per visit, or is it how does
Well,
that go?
the thing when you deal with a big facility like I have, think about if you have one client. Even with my hourly session is $125 an hour. So think about $125 an hour, and you do 3 of those a day. Okay, you're looking at 375 compared to making those a class into adult class, which has injury prevention, has core, has everything an athlete needs, and you put 3 or 4 people in a class at 350 a month. So do the math on that of having 3 to 4 people in one class the same hour at 350 per head compared to charging 125 an hour for one individual. So that you have the profit of tripling your revenue monthly.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you.
Kind of switching gears here. Obviously, gym is you gotta group people together and stuff. So with COVID, how did you handle that situation?
Well, because I'm a former police officer, there's some kickbacks you get from that because I train police officers now. I train SWAT, I train K9, I train the sheriffs, I train the chiefs, I train everybody all over town. So when COVID was going on, honestly, that was my busiest time. Even though they were shutting most people down, my police officer friends and everybody knew what I was doing. I would meet my kids at a parking lot, grocery store parking lot, and drive them to my facility. So there was only my vehicle in the yard in the front of the facility, and I had 20 or 30 people inside. But again, they knew what I was about, and of course, the 2020 era, including my son, that was a very damaging time for these seniors trying to go into college. And now you're shut down, but you still got to be able to work out and train. A lot of people didn't have access to weights or things of that nature at their homes. So, that was a very trying time to that point. So I knew the responsibilities that I had and opportunities that I had to know that everybody was watching over me, knowing that I would do things the right way. I was safe, clean, and things of that nature. That COVID didn't really affect my business.
Okay, so then other than COVID, especially like in the early stages when you were first getting started, what do you think was your biggest challenge that you faced thus far?
Retention, and retention meaning is if I sign up 30 people in 1 month, I expect to have 30 next month. So what comes into the retention part, the biggest thing about keeping clients is not the actual training, it's customer service. Customer service is 99% of every business's revenue generator and profit. After customer service, cleanliness of your facility. Your facility should be as clean as your house because you have all walks of life of people coming in that may be extremely OCD or or allergic to certain things and things of that nature. And thirdly, after that is the actual strength and conditioning training, or what my business is all about, the training part. So as you on a sports facility, my primary profit or my primary concern was not the actual athlete; it was the actual customer service. Because if the kid is happy and he's getting results, and the parents are happy, sky's the limit to that point.
We talked about required resources. I'm gonna touch on that a little bit more. What resources, like financial or like personal or even capital wise, did you need when you were getting started? And were there any sacrifices or trade-offs you had to make to gain access to these resources if you didn't have them already?
Oh, most definitely. I think the biggest challenge was getting all your certifications, getting your license, getting CPR certified, getting all of that stuff in hand before you can even do a turnkey into your facility. Even though you're certified as a trainer, when you become a business person, there's a whole lot more legality wise that you got to have liability insurance. You have to have more than one different type of insurance when it comes to that. You have to have a banker to help you open up a business account, try to establish credit. The biggest thing about a small business is the first 3 years, nobody will give you a business loan because they need to track and see how much you bring in per month, how much you bring in per year, how much you bring in per 2 year, per 3 years. So if I want to do a $50,000 to $100,000 loan and I'm only bringing in $5,000 a month and my average monthly expense or 10,000, there's no way they're going to give me that. So starting off those first 3 years was straight sweat equity. Everything I made, I put back into the business. So having a partner, like my fiance, is you have to have a backbone. Somebody that knowing that you're going for what you want to do, but they're going to be able to help the household financially while you kind of build.
Awesome. Did you have any outside investors starting out, or did you just bootstrap and kind of put in your sweat
I
money into it?
get it all because my thing of it is when you get an investor, you have to understand an investor can be an investor as a partner, or an investor can be a private investor. And what a private investor is he does not get to tell you what to do, how to run your business or whatever. Long as whatever you guys agreed upon, long as he get his check every month, he has no say so. Now you get an investor that slash partner. Now he has say so into your business because now he is 50. You're 51. He's 49, but he still has say so. So if hey, I'm bringing 10 athletes in, I need you to take care of them, but don't charge them, then now somebody's coming in changing your whole model of your program. So that's something that I decided not to do and just go straight sweat equity, build out my business until my 3-year tenure was up and get my own loan.
Awesome.
So for the founding team, it would just be you. Did you not have anybody else?
It was me and a lot of my former and professional athletes, huge referrals from doctors, former professional athletes that I've trained and things of that nature that made sure that I had the amount of people I need to make my business be successful.
And with those like people that helped found the company, did you ever have any issues that you ran into
Not
along the
one,
way?
not one whatsoever.
That's good.
That's
What-
awesome. Yeah.
Did you so you still have 100% equity in your company then? You didn't give any away?
No, none whatsoever.
Okay. That's good.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome.
And do you
good.
think like your previous success helped you like build this company? Because I know a lot of people when they're coming in to a new environment or whatever, they may have to have people help them, which in turn would cause them to lose equity. Do you think your previous experience in sports and training and such helped you like be able to do it this way?
100%. It's the relationship that I built with all of my professional athletes that they saw that I had value, and race had nothing to do with it, to the point where if you're good at what you do it. And the majority of all of my athletes were white American. I just had, just to say. So that goes to show that there's not a prejudiced bone in people's body when it comes to helping people that gives back. And they know that everything that you're doing is from the heart.
Yes, sir. So with that founding team, do any of your co-founders that were your previous athletes, do they have any sort of ownership in the company, or is it just you?
That's 100% me.
Awesome. Cool. What did you do when y'all were starting out to kind of make sure did you have like outlined roles when y'all were starting out, or you kind of just like you were the main guy and then they helped you out, and how did that
I
work?
was a guy they sent me people, referred me people that didn't ask for anything or whatever, and that's where when you treat people right, they're going to make sure that they feed you and take care and make sure that you're taken care of. Just like my son was 5 years old and going into probably $1 million houses watching me train these athletes, and that's for me, that was something that I was able to give that most trainers couldn't give, by building those relationships and continue to move forward with that. And even with giving the opportunity to my son to put him into a private school in Mississippi into performance arts, to where he eventually became a professional actor, which he still is. So that opened up a lot of doors for me, to be able to have that extra income, to be able to make sure that I was setting his future up.
Awesome.
And just kind of shifting back to the actual business you're running now, like how it is running now. Do you have employees? Do you have people staffed, or is it mostly just a one-man job?
For me, I have subcontractors. I have probably 8 subcontractors, so they just get a W-9 form at the end of the year. Therefore, I don't have to carry any taxes for employees or whatever, because in the training world, people don't last long. They come in and try to put their own spin on things, or they try to see your model and try to mold your model to theirs, and then eventually kind of leave. So basically what I do, I just hire subcontractors. So my business is built off of sports training, teams, trainers and group training. That's my whole model. I have a private gym. It's not open to the public. So you have to have access to be able to get into my gym with a fingerprint or a QR code with your cell phone.
All right. And so you said mostly contractors. What roles do they play exactly in the company?
Well, they have their own clientele. So their main responsibility is to make sure that the facility is clean at all times, bathrooms, trash cans, things of that nature, and they all pay a monthly fee or monthly rental fee.
All right.
Cool. Starting out with your own gym company, you know, obviously when you started a company at all, there's a lot of risk involved. Did you do anything to manage like potential risk, like maybe kind of ask around or like test out what it would be like and what your consumer base would look like and if it would be like a profitable thing before you, like you said, just kind of went into it with your sweat equity?
I think for me, being that I had the relationship with some of the professional athletes, they made sure that they steered me in the right area. So I'm blessed on that part of a lot of things most people had to do. I didn't have to do that. You know, if I got on the road, my road stayed green the whole while. I never had to deter to the left or right to the point to where I may have had any losses or anything to that degree. I can honestly say I'm blessed to this point to say that in 3 years of owning the business to where I opened the business, I've had not one loss.
That's awesome.
And what is your like rough estimate of how many people you're training at once? Where does that stay around?
I usually top my classes out at probably 15 athletes, unless I'm training a team, which can go anywhere from 20 to 22. When I train my teams, they usually pay probably $300 an hour for team training. The group training, like I said, is anywhere between 10 to 15 people in a class, which pays anywhere from some of my people are grandfathered into some prices, my old prices that followed me, so they're at a price now that's grandfathered in compared to the new people coming in that are my new prices. And people that are not members, I have a drop-in rate as well. So if somebody just wanted to drop in every so often, they could do that as well.
And do you think the grandfathering people in helps you retain your customers? Like, so
It
you don't
does,
have to. Okay.
it does because they are my biggest referrals. But there will come a time, probably January 2023, that there will be an uptick in the membership, but still they will have a lesser price than any of the new people. So you always got to take care of the people that paved the way for you.
And do you
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that's worth it to maybe take a little bit less from them, but do you think their referrals and they're just coming back helps you at the end of the day make more?
Percent for them to continue to come back and the results that they get, and they're actually walking billboards for me, says a lot. And not only with that, with keeping them grandfathered in, bringing 3, 4, 5 people or more as a referral, and you're talking 300 a head. I mean, $50 won't make or break you.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yeah. We did talk about some of your challenges starting out. Could you remind me, what were some challenges in your early stages and some um sacrifices you had to make and kind of how did you navigate that?
Sacrifices is, couldn't buy certain things. You had to uh, have a system of what are your needs and what are your wants. If if you need this, you got to get it and you got to sacrifice for it. But if I want this, then those things had to stay to the wayside. To the point where um, is it going to affect your business or is it going to be an asset to your business? So those are some things that you had to have. It's not, and being that I'm a much older person, even when I got started, I've been doing this for years. There was not look at me, look at me, look at me. I got this nice car, I got these nice clothes, or I got the new bells and whistles of whatever. I didn't have to go through that. The young trainers that you have now, they spend every dime they get.
Awesome.
And so do you think that since you kind of did start it on your own and didn't really rely on any investments, that it affected your personal life spending more than it would have if you would have
100.
just gotten a large investment?
Yes, 100. But then not only with that, you have to look at what interest rate that you're getting into. At the time when I opened my business, the interest rate for businesses was 5+, which is extremely high. So that's when you look at, especially me being a trainer, I always wanted to have my own place. So I had a nest egg that was, blessed by the Lord that, you know what, this is all I got. I'm going all in, and I put it all in and couldn't ask for a better place to be.
All
That's
right. Well, I
awesome.
see we only have about 4 minutes on the Zoom. Do any of y'all have any major questions y'all want to get out before we
Let's see.
run
I
out of
think we kind
time?
of covered everything that we needed to. I mean, do you have any questions for us?
No, now are you guys, as far as the entrepreneurship that you're doing, are you looking to be entrepreneurs? Or are you looking into the fitness industry? Or what are you guys' goals?
So at the moment, this is an elective class. And I think a couple of us may have some business ideas for the future, but at the moment we're students at the University of Georgia, so we're just kind of doing this and kind of researching and getting to know some entrepreneurs. So
Yeah, I kind of am a different route than most people in this class. I am actually like a journalism major, so I'm looking into doing more like sports writing, sports broadcasting. So I do want to stay in the sports realm, but I wanted to do this entrepreneurship program just to kind of diversify myself a little bit. So I have a little bit of a different look, not just as a writer, but kind of learn a little bit more. So after college, I have a little bit more knowledge about if I do want to do any business type things, I have a little bit more of an idea of it.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that you all need to take advantage of while you're in school is try to get your business management class. That's huge and crucial right now. And with today's society, everything is data and analytics.
yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the three of us, William, Tanner, and Zach, we're in the business program, and we do a lot of analytics classes but by the end of our degree. And I know that the three of us want to do different things, but I actually do want to go into sports management at the pro level if I can. And a lot of that is analytics as well. So
Okay, great.
All right, well,
I
yeah,
think,
we appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
thank you
Thank you
so
very
much.
much.
You're welcome.
All
All
right.
right.
All right.
Yeah.
Take care.
Okay.
Yeah.